All right, so 2.1, solving equations. So how do we solve this equation? X plus 5 is 13. Do you remember how to solve equations from your
Subtract 5 from both sides. Right.
algebra days? Yeah, right, yeah. So it's like equals is like a separator, a wall, left side, right side. And the x is saying, I want to be alone over here. That's kind of like what's going on, right, when we solve equations. So if x wants to be alone, what do you do to get x alone? You got to get rid of that plus 5. You do the opposite. We always do the opposite for solving, don't we? We do the opposite of whatever's with x to get x alone. So subtract 5 from both sides. And why do we do it to both sides?
To get rid of, make the x alone.
Got to keep the balance, don't we? If I just did that, if two things are equal, right? And originally, this equals that. If two things are equal, and you treat them the same, they'll be equal afterwards. Won't they? They'll be equal. You ever heard the old riddle? I'll give you a riddle. You want a math riddle? So what weighs more on a scale? 1,000 pounds of gold. So on one side, imagine gold. 1,000 pounds of gold bars, one side of the scale. Other side, 1,000 pounds of feathers. 1,000 pounds of feathers. Imagine that. Which one weighs more?
It's the same.
Easy. It's a silly question for you guys, right? I remember as a kid, I heard that riddle and I was like, I don't know. That's a lot of feathers. I don't know. No, yeah, you're right. Obviously, it's you can think logically quite well, better than I could when I was a kid. Yeah, they're equal. They're 1,000 pounds. My point in that riddle, it's useful for this case because those would look very different, wouldn't they? 1,000 pounds of feathers. Look, but they truly are equal, same way. Well, that's what an equation is. X plus 5 doesn't look like 13, but they're telling us they are equal. They are the same, even though they look different. So if two things are the equal, and we treat them the same, subtract 5 from both sides, they'll be equal afterwards. That makes sense. That's why we do the same thing to both sides. So what do we get? 8. You know it. You knew it before we started. 8 is the answer, right? All right, let's move on. Negative 7 plus x is minus 21. Minus 7 plus x equals negative 21. So x is always saying, I want to be alone. Get rid of this stuff with me so I can be alone. So what do we do to get x alone? Add it. It's always the opposite, huh? And what do we do to one side, do the other? Got to keep the balance. So x is, and then just use calculator or by hand. What is that? Minus 14? Negative 14. All right. Okay, so x plus an eighth is minus 3/4. Here's the wall. X is saying I want to be alone. So what am I going to do to get x alone? We always do the opposite of whatever's with x, huh? So subtract 1/8. Whatever you do to one side, you have no choice but to do the same thing to the other to keep the balance. All right, now can you do that on the other side? Remember how to, just bring the x down here. How do we actually do that other side? Yeah, got to get the least common denominator over there. So what's it going to be? What are you going to make both the 3/4 and the 1/8? What are you going to make both denominators? Yeah, so what are you going to do to the 3/4? Yeah, remember how that kind of stuff works? Some calculators will just do it straight for you. So this will be minus 6/8 and minus 1/8. Now we can do it. Minus 7/8. That good? It's not 1/4. It's 7/8. If it was 2/8, maybe that looks like a 2. Maybe my 7 looks like a 2. Yeah, it's 7/8. If it was 2/8, yeah. Good on that? So common denominator. So, okay. So we got, I'll write it over here, minus 9/14 plus m is, here's the wall. M is saying I want to be alone. So what are we going to do? We're going to do the opposite of whatever's with the letter, huh? So add 9/14. Gonzo. Now we got to add those two. or add, subtract, or whatever. Combine those two. So what's a common denominator for 14 and 6?
42.
It is. It's 42. If you happen to know that, great. Suppose you don't know that. Don't worry about it. Just multiply by the other one. It'll be fine. It won't be the lowest common denominator, but it'll work. That's probably the easiest thing I would, or just easy to use your calculator if your calculator does fractions. But what I'm going to suggest, if you need to do this by hand, don't worry about whatever the lowest common denominator is. Just multiply by the opposite one, and that'll work fine. Does that make sense? So one of them has a denominator of 14, one of them has 6. Just multiply by the other denominator, and that'll make the two denominators the same. It'll be common denominators. It won't be the lowest. 42 is the lowest, that's true. And if you know that, you're doing even better. That'll make it even nicer. But you don't have to do it that way. This will work. So then we'll get what? Minus 70 over 84. And this is 54 over 84. Yeah, so now they're common denominator. Question? Yeah. Yeah, so that's the common denominator. That'd be the least common. That'd be like 42.
Yeah.
So you can totally do that. Yeah, that'd be even better.
Okay.
But in case you can't find that number, then just multiply by the other one. It'll work fine. So now let's combine minus 70. They both have 84 as their denominator. Minus 70 plus 54. Is that minus 16? And then I'm sure that's reducible, huh? Divide by 2. Top and bottom, what is that? Minus 8 40-seconds. Divide by 2 again. Minus 4 21s. Just got to keep reducing it. Is that what your calculator told you immediately? Minus 4 21s. Is that good? Questions on that one? All right, so 3 and a fourth plus x is 6. So what are we going to do there? X is over here, saying I want to be alone. So go ahead, do that one. See if you can solve for x there.
Yeah, I was looking for that. Thank you.
Now they want a fraction answer. See over here? See the blue line tells you the kind of answer they want? They want a fraction. They don't want a mixed number. So you got to give them a fraction answer. Can you do that? Some of those calculators will even do mixed numbers for you and convert it to fractions. Let me show you. Here's one here. I feel like I'm a salesman for the Casio Natural Display. But section behind, if you're okay, I'm going to leave that section behind. What was the final answer? 11/4 on that. However you do it, whichever way you do it on that one.